Right, it's the 11th of July 2024, and I want to do a conspiracy regarding the sexual curse of Lauren and sexual weather that's persistently occurring. So if we go back to the 90s, the early 90s, like 1992-ish or whatever, you did have quite a lot of sunny weather. 1993, 1994. But straight after 1994, quite literally, most days were cloudy. Literally every day. 95, 96, 97, 98. Trying to think what it was. Even 1999, it became a bit sunnier in 1999. But you know, most days were cloudy and it was nice. You know, it was a nice gentle ambience. Most people's moods were pretty much calm. It depends, because some people get aggressive. The rough type people, they got a different mindset and they prefer the sun and they get nastier in the cloudy or rainy weather. But a majority of people do prefer the sun, so you know, and it hypes them up a little bit. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about threats or anything like that. So I remember 1987 area, 1986. You could look up to the sky and the sun would be like an orangey yellow colour. It wouldn't be a blistering white colour you see today. And the summer would have a golden look to the ground. It wouldn't have this obliterated white and everywhere looking suppressing. It would have some colour detail to the ground, and the sun would give that detail of colour, and it looked a lot nicer than what the sun looks today. Today the sun just looks like obliterated white and it just makes you feel depressed wherever you go. But there's nothing you can do about it. That's the way the sun is now. But then again, even back then, I'm not really one for the sunny days. I'm more of a cloudy type person. I'm not really that keen on part cloudy days, you know, where it's bright days with cloud. I do prefer the cloud, to the sun, because the sun is just not my sort of weather. Right, so let's get to the early 2000s. 2001, I recall being a very sunny year. 2002, I think it was a bit more cloudy. 2003 was a variable, changeable year. You had some very hot, sunny summer weather, but you did have some cloudy days in the winter time period. 2004, yeah, sort of sunny and cloudy, sort of same again. Maybe not quite as sunny as 2003, I can't remember. I was in Beach Court for 6 months, so I didn't really go out much. I was just sort of sitting there doing nothing all day, which is like a mental hospital type place when I was homeless. And then obviously I moved to West Street, which was at Southbourne House on, I think it's either the 10th or the 2nd of June 2005, sorry. And then I remember there being a lot of cloudy days. Same for 2006. You did have sunny days, but there was also, I think there was more cloudy days than sunshine going back in those times. But the threats and the problems were off the scale back in those days. Because obviously, when the sun comes out, it cheers people up. It can make them nasty as well. It's hard to explain. People prefer the sun. They get the sun, but it makes them nasty. But at the same time, the cloud makes people nasty because they don't like the weather it's cloudy. So you can't win one way or the other. But what I will say is I'm one of those that prefers cloud, dull days, misty days, light rain days. I'm into that sort of weather, which is not what everybody are really into as such. So if we move on to the 10 years I was at West Street, most years were cloudy-ish to some extent, but sort of 2011, 2012, 2013, you did see a lot more in the way of sunny days, and the summer of 2012 was quite warm, and I think that was the year where it reached 28 Celsius in my place. Now obviously that felt hot because I wasn't used to those temperatures. Obviously the temperatures are a lot more hotter than that today. 28 degrees is your average temperature for a cool day now, since I've lived in Yeovil. But when I moved to Burnham-on-Sea, so you had, what happened in 2014 and 2015, you had some nice cloudy weather. come the sort of summertime, maybe a bit later in the autumn time of, I think it was 2015, I can't remember, might have been 2016 actually, I can't remember. There's a time I was looking at lighthouses on the internet, getting pictures. There's a lot of cloudy, rainy days in that time period. Sorry about that. It's the weather, you see, it's sunny. So the next thing I wanted to mention is, that would have been the same time period I saw this picture, or this painting of Lauren, who's holding her hand out, of a sun curse on this boy, this man. Basically, I'll explain this picture later on, but it's an abstract painting, which I call the sex curse painting. Right, but let's finish with the weather conditions first, shall we? So, in 2017, I think that was the year we had a bit of snow. I can't remember. No, it's not. It might have been 2018. It might have been 2016. It was one. I can't remember if the 2 years were together or a couple of years apart. But you had to snow for one day. Even in that time period, the sun was becoming more frequent, but it was still very cloudy, mostly. You could enjoy the cloudy weather. You can't do that anymore. In actual fact, since I moved from Burnham-on-Sea, I'm 3 times more lower than I was when I was living at Burnham-on-Sea in 2016, 2017 area. And I was feeling suicidal back in that time period. Even though I was feeling suicidal, nowadays my life has dropped completely. You've got nothing to look forward to. You're thinking to yourself, even back then, you'd have the possibility of getting sex for the first time in your life because you're still in your 30s. But, you know, there's not much you can do about it if God's fucking put a knife in you. I mean, I've gone to religious... I mean, I mentioned this on many, many recordings. Gone to religious buildings to pray to God. Basically, before I moved from Burnham to Yeovil, my life just got worse and worse. And in 2022, you're looking at 40 to 140 threats per day, and could be up to 200. Same in quantity as an average for people photographing me, mistaking me as Sven each day of 2022, and also the same quantity for people coughing or sneezing in my face for 2022. And most days you'd get at least 200 people sharing their radiation from their smartphones or sex phones, with calls being made trying to pass you on a daily basis, and can be up to about 1,000. And the other thing that was happening in 2022 is people pushing a buggy, a pushchair with a child, and most of them are under the age of 30. And then obviously you've got to take into account I'm known as a sick bastard if I don't fancy a granny. So I think to myself, well, why are people, single mothers under the age of 40, if I'm being told I'm a sick cunt if I don't go with an old granny? When I've not had sex in my whole life. The only sex I've actually had, believe it or not, and I'm not making this up, is being sexually abused as a child, because I've not been able to get anyone because everybody's too fucking stingy to let you have anyone. Or they're fucking too fussy or too complaining or too fucking snobby. I mean, people are telling me to lower my standards. You can't fucking lower your standards. It's these people, their standards is for too high. More like the proper saying. But, and all my rough people, all these enemies that have gone after me or want me dead, they've been with these sexual people and they got the nerve to tell me I'm a sick bastard if I fancy their girlfriend because of my age. You know, it's like that. And, you know, they just tell me to go with the rotten looking faces, or the ones that look like they got tomato ketchup coming out of their teeth, or they got the face of shingles or warts, or like they got rash all over their body and fat build and have black greasy hair, misted up glasses or gizmo eyes, or look like they're boasting in a stupid way, in a goofy way. You know, I'm being told to go with that type when I've not had anyone in my whole life. And I can't even eat at a dinner table with this type. But anyway, let's skip all that because this is not what this documentary is about. It's about the weather. So obviously, let's just go to 2017 to skip the story, because that's the first of the really hot sunny weather and the blue sky sunny days all year round. So we come into I think it's 2017. It's the year they grew sunflowers at the apex at Burnham-on-Sea. Because I always remember that, because going back to 2013 area, it could be just a bit before, or it could be a bit before that actually, because I didn't it was before I moved to Burnham-on-Sea, which I think was either late 2013 or 2014, but then again it wouldn't make sense if it was late 2014 because I'd been early 2015, so I'm not actually sure 100% when I moved. I can't remember. I've forgotten. But anyway, when I made that Sexually Crucified track, which was a jungle type of track that I did on a music program called Pro DJ, I made that because obviously I've been sexually abused, stopped from getting anyone all my life, and I thought, even back then, you know, because this is over 10 years ago when I made that track, I thought there still must be time left to get someone, but I wanted to make that track just in case my life falls through and I don't get anything at all. I mean, I tried contacting Gemma, which is not a friend as such, not someone I know. She's only, you know, she's the age I at this minute in time, she's the age I was back at that time, which is, she's about 10 years younger, or 11 years younger. But even that's a problem today. Yet if we go to this person called Kim, going back 15 years ago or so, 20 years ago, she's actually in a relationship with someone near enough my age today. So take off about 3 years to what my age is. She was 18 and she got in a relationship with a man that's basically near enough my age today. 10 years later, after they sort of fell out, they had a baby and all the rest of it, they fell out, I tried to ask her a few questions on the internet, and I didn't want to ask if she's single as such. I just wanted to sort of get friendship, and she was moaning about the age gap, saying there's 10 years difference in age gap. So the media has twisted her mind over the time to say that I'm a sick cunt because of the age gap. Yet if we go back just 10 years before that, she would have been with someone 10 years older than I am, basically. So the best way to say this is, 20 years ago, a 20-year age gap wasn't a problem. 10 years later, she's 10 years on top of her age, so she'd be 10 years more uglier than what she would have been when she was 18 and had sex with this 41-year-old man. And she's got me down as a sick cunt because of the age gap of just 10 years. So just in that 10-year age gap, she's put the age tighter together than what it used to be when she was going with people 20 years difference in age. And now she doesn't allow anybody more than several years difference in age. At the time I didn't know that she was a single mother, I only found that out later on. But either way, this is not what this documentary is about, so we're going to go further into this documentary to mention the weather. 2017. So the basis of 2017 is from the middle of March to the beginning of November of 2017. Apart from 3 rainy days, every single day of 2017 in that time period was blue skies and sunshine. When we came into the year 2018, from April 2018 right up to December of 2018, almost every day was sunny. You did have some torrential rainstorms and you did have some cloud cover at times, so it's not as bad as what it is today. So 2018 would have been very similar to how 2022 would have been, maybe just a little bit more cloudier. Add on another 2 weeks to how it was in 2022, basically. Maybe 3 weeks onto 2022, I don't know. Anyway, the winters were mostly sunny as well, so January was sunny. 2019 was quite sunny. I didn't really take much notice, I just know that most days were sunny all year round. But you still had cloudy days, you know, you still had those cloudy days. But they were very far and few between, but they were better than what they are now. When we came to 2020, in the lockdown, you had some rainy spells or some cloud cover at times, but most days were sunny. 2021, June had some quite heavy rain downpours and some torrential rainstorms. There's a couple of week period where you did have that sort of rain cloud here and there, but it wasn't really cloudy as such because it was sunny straight after. However, July was a very hot month in 2021. Sunny every day. Every day in August was sunny. No, it wasn't. Actually, the first day of August was cloudy, and the second day, although there was some sort of, well, not cloudy as such, but cloudy mornings. There was a bit of cloud throughout the day. It wasn't a full sunny day. And the rest of August was sunny. When we came into September, most days were sunny. October, you had some cloudy weather come in of 2021. November, you also had some cloudy weather for most days, and you know, up until December, you did have quite a lot of cloud here and there. It wasn't just based on sunny weather. Right, when we come into 2022, you had January was quite a sunny month, but it wasn't the sunny. It's not nowhere near as sunny as what it was in 2023 or 2024. But 2022, January was a very sunny month. But you did have about a total of 5 days of where there was like a lot of cloud about, but where I was, it was sunny. So it was kind of here hit and miss. But I was taking pictures of old lights at Evercreech in that specific year, and that was when I noticed that the sun was only popping out where I was, and I was getting a bit annoyed by it because it's done in like a cursed way. But then that sort of cursed sort of way died down just to become open sunshine generally everywhere for that year, followed by torrential rainstorms. So when we came into February, there was only I'm trying to think, what was February? February we had a snow shower and one half a cloudy day. Otherwise every single day was sunny for February 2022. When we came into March, you started at the end of March, you had some torrential rainstorms, but most of March was blue skies and sunshine. I think it is every day, I can't remember. Not sure, I've sort of lost my track on 2022 because of the modern weather at the moment, but I think there might have been a bit of cloud, or there might have been blue skies mixed with like bits of cloud in the sky, you know, sort of mixed month, but mostly sunny. But you did have like white cloud, I think it was that. Then it's April, I do remember April is the start of the torrential rainstorms, and they could be anything from a couple of minutes to 2 hours, maybe 20 minutes, and so on. You had quite a few of those. I lost count of how many you had in April, but you must have had about a good 80 plus, maybe 100 in just that 1 month, because you were getting lots of these torrential rainstorms in that year. And it was similar in May, but most of May was blue skies and sunshine though. June, there was some cloudy weather in June. There was some rainy, cloudy weather in June, but it was mostly by the torrential rainstorms, and it was only for a sort of couple of days. But the heat intensity wasn't boiling hot, so it wasn't like 2023 or 2024. Then obviously in July, you sort of had a mixed variation of torrential rainstorms and sunshine, but it was mostly sunny. But the mornings, most mornings were cloudy, if I recall, for July. Or was that August? It might have been August, I'm not sure. You did have a couple of cloudy days at the beginning of July, I do remember that. Then we came into the month of September. August, sorry, that's where it was cloudy morning, sorry, and then sunny in the afternoon, but you had like torrential rainstorms here and there, anything from 20 minutes, mostly 20 minutes in that specific time period, but there were days where 2 hours or periods would occur, whatever. When we get to September, it started to cool down. It wasn't like it was in 2023. It's cloudy, you have rainy, cloudy days, and there was actually days where the whole day was cloudy without any sunshine at all. It wasn't very often, but you did have those days, and there was several of them in September. And then there's quite a lot of cloudy weather that are coming and going for that specific month. It's one of the cloudiest months of 2022. October, again, you did have a lot of cloud about, and you know it's covering things up, although it's mostly a sunny year, because I thought it to be a sunny year because it was actually a sunny year. But when you compare it to 2023 and 2024, then it's beyond belief now, because the weather's changed so much just in that time period. So October, if I remember, was just mostly sunshine in October. It was one of those months where it's just sunshine. And also most of November, apart from 3 misty mornings before 11 AM, then the whole of November was sunny. December had a variation of changeable weather. However, it was mostly sunny most days with blue skies, but you did have some days where, a couple of days where you had some cloud as well, but the cloud wasn't long lasting. It was just for short periods of time before sunshine occurred. And then on Christmas Day, that was actually a cloudy day or a rainy day for 2022. And then then it was sunny every day with blue skies up until the 1st of January 2023, where it was a rainy day. But even though it was rainy on that day, come the afternoon of January the 1st, 2023, it became sunny. Then, like I said, it wasn't like the year before. January 2023, every single day in January 2023 was sunshine. Where I was, it was persistent the whole month. There wasn't a single cloudy day. In February of 2023, apart from a half a day in February and a quarter of a day in February, every single day of February 2023 was sunny. And those 2 days where the cloud came over was rain, mostly. When we came into March 2023, I'm trying to think what happened in March 23. I can't remember if I was at my father's. There was a 2-week period where you had some cloud cover, but it wasn't that much cloud cover, but it was enough to sort of say that a half a day was cloudy on most days for about 2 weeks, though it was mostly sunny. So you had that, and it's mostly for that month of March 2023 that makes up for most of the cloudy, rainy days of that specific year. If it wasn't for that, then basically there's hardly any sun right through the whole of that year. So April 2023, you had a couple of rain showers and a couple of torrential rainstorms, but they weren't very long lasting, so they're no more than about 5 minutes, but enough to get you drenched when they do occur. Obviously in April you had a sort of similar sort of scenario, because and that, so it's very similar but mostly sunny every day. When we reach the 1st of May 2023, every single day in May was blue skies and sunshine. When we came to June, apart from a half a day, I think it is, I can't remember, or there was a short period of time, actually I can't remember June that well of 2023, but I do recall it being a very sunny month. The whole of July 2023 was sunny. Every single day of August 2023 was sunny. Every single day, apart from one outbreak of rainstorms in a short period of time, lasting no more than a few seconds or a minute. Then the whole of September of 2023 was sunny, but there was also a lot of cloud about. But where I was walking about, it was just sunny. There was no cloud covering me, so I had to put it down as sunny because I'm only going by my self experience. So this is where I go into Yandles, and we got this Lauren curse. So I see this painting. Lauren is a lady that's got soft skin, but looks younger than what her age is. If I was to guess her age today, she could be as high as 35. I mean, I don't actually know what her age is, but I have heard that someone says she's actually a year older than me, but she doesn't appear to look that old. Anyway, this Lauren went to sort of smile at me, and she knew I was single because I was holding the CD when I went into Tesco's. So I didn't really speak, but she knew that, she sort of liked me, sort of gave that like look and whatever, back in 2015 area. Then it was very rare that I'd see her, and then every time I passed her, I'd pass rough people who were giving me trouble. They didn't actually give the name of like mistaking me as Savannah or anything like that. They just got in my way and got nasty with me and got aggressive and threatened to smash me and forced me out the aisle, and in some cases they forced me out of Tesco's supermarket altogether, going back at that time period. Anyway, there was a time period where I wasn't paying much attention to going down to Tesco's because of the setups and the control force on the road, and all the threats and all the people shouting at me from the houses that I pass or whatever. That later turned to be Savem threats and Liam threats. And this is what turned Lauren against me, to cut a long story short, when I saw her again. And then she just gave me like a dodgy look and just looked away or walked away from me when she saw me in the supermarket. Her boyfriend then, who was a scaffolding worker, I don't know if it's a new boyfriend, but his name's Mike, he threatened to smash me and break all my fucking legs, saying I'm a sick cunt. And I'll knife you fucking down and bash your brains out, thinking I'm a Savannah, and getting really aggressive and tempered. And you didn't want to argue with him because he is actually built like a brick shithouse. Now, if I was to guess his age, I'd say he's about 27, maybe 30-ish, going back at that time. And I would have been in my sort of mid-30s, a bit higher than, over the higher end of the 30s at that time. Anyway, it was very rare I saw her, and I never saw her after that. The next time I saw her, she gave me a nasty look, and she had two ginger-haired boys, and she was walking with a rough boyfriend called Mike, who just looked at me like, who basically, I think he laughed actually, just walked past and laughed at me on that other occasion, which was a couple of years later on. So that's the end of that. This Savem threat of mine has caused many people to turn against me in shops. When I visited Burnham-on-Sea to do a camping trip because of the heat wave in September 2023, everyone that I knew, even in the herbal shop, the co-op shop, the Seabreeze New Age shop, and the post office, and a couple of other places, they've all turned against me thinking I'm Savannah. And there's also a person that I showed my identification to in a coffee morning. I showed him my original birth certificate, my original national insurance number, and also my passport to confirm my name, when he started to say, who is this Savannah, and all the rest of it, back when I first knew him. Even though I showed him all that, and the fact that none of it's been replaced and it's all the proper original, the real McCoy. When I went to go and see him in September, I went to say alright to him, and he got nasty with me, saying he bashed me out thinking I was Savannah. So even though he saw the identification, so he's forgotten I showed him that, and it's all turned nasty. So there was over 1,000 threats in the 8 days I was pissing about, coming between Yeovil, or just sitting in the woodland, or sitting at Barrow in the sand dunes waiting for the sunny weather to pass, or charging my phone in the church in that time period when I had an appointment and when I was escaping my place because of the heat wave of being 34 degrees Celsius at night. I couldn't take it. Anyway, that was the end of that. Everybody that I known in that area has turned, and it wouldn't be a place I'd look to move back to. However, before that camping trip in September, I was considering of going back in that area, but I didn't realise it was as dangerous as how it is. There's a documentary I've already mentioned on this, and it goes into violence, it goes into trying to well, I can't say really, to be fair, because this is a separate documentary, but anything from taking your life with a deadly substance or whatever. But let's just skip that and go back to this Lauren business, shall we? So, anyway, later on in September, I went into Yandles at Martock, and they had this printed painting on a postcard of this specific painting of what I called Lauren, or the sex curse painting. So it's an abstract painting. So basically it has a picture of this, a lookalike to this Lauren. Obviously it's not 100% looking like this Lauren, because it can resemble someone else. On the eBay at this current time they have an advert called Nectar 1 Points, and it has like a red page where it shows writing on these nectar points, and it has a picture of a lady, a young lady, wearing a blue coat or blue top, waving her hands in the air and smiling. Lauren looks kind of similar to that, but if you were to mix the two together, say the Lauren that works in that Tesco's and that lady that's waving her hands in the air on that Nectar 1 Point advert, she'd look very similar, probably more towards the Nectar Points advert when it comes to the painting in particular. So this painting, obviously she looks a bit smoother than this on the painting, so it's like a smooth body that's coming out of the clouds. She's got a straight lip. They drawn the painting with a straight lip, but made the lip look like she's doing a sexy pose, even though the lip is straight. So it's a bit like a sort of pose if I was to make a sound symbolically to suggest how the lip would be applied. Where she's holding her hand out and the sunshine's coming out of her hand onto this man that's walking down the track. Now this man that's walking down the track is walking down like a woodland track with open areas and woodland around and farms and everything else. And the sun's only being beamed down on this specific man. Now this man has a backpack on, he's holding a word pad or a clipboard with a pen in one hand and a torch in the other hand. I can't remember if the torch is switched on or whether the torch is switched off, but this man that's drawn in the picture has a pointed nose, a long nose that's pointed, kind of pointed, but at the same time they've designed the picture or the painting so that that person in some ways looks very similar to myself. I saw this on the internet in 2015-2016 area, but I didn't take much notice of it. I just thought it doesn't interest me, I'm not interested. And when I did see it at Yandles at Martock, being sold onto a postcard, so it must be quite a big painting for it to be pressed onto a commercial postcard, I saw it, but I didn't take much notice of it. And then obviously while I was walking to the bus stop, I was thinking about that card, and then obviously I remembered what the picture looked like in the suggestion. I thought to myself, I've got to go and get that card, or I've at least got to photograph it to get the evidence. So I couldn't do it because it was the last bus back, which I think was 4:20 p.m. on that specific day. So I thought I'd do it another day. Then I couldn't get on the bus because the bus was too packed every time I was getting on the bus, because you had these hot sunny days. So I gave up and I decided to look on the internet. After a while I went back to Martock to go in that car, to go into Yandles to ask one of the people that worked there what what card that is, and whether I could order that card. And so she gave me the name of the painter of who did that specific card. I lost the paper with the name of the painter of who did that specific card. A couple of months later I saw the same woman in there, and I went to re-get the information of who did that card, and she'd forgotten and she couldn't tell me, and she just said that when it comes to the cards, it's probably some place dealer we're not dealing with anymore. But she said I wouldn't be able to tell you because I can't remember who the painting was done by. So I did another search in other shops and or whatever else. But just after I saw that painting that was being sold on a postcard, it's like a re-establishment of a sly curse that comes from that sort of day onwards. Because since that time of September 2023, although it occurred in the beginning of 2023, not very often, but they started to angle and cause all the sky to become blue skies and sunshine everywhere I went. So when we went into the month of October, November and December, each and every single day I went out, they managed, even on the wettest of days, if you had the wet, they managed to cause the sky pattern to be blue skies and sunshine circling me in a way where they're moving or pissing about with the clouds to keep it open with blue skies everywhere I go in a cursed pattern when I don't like the sexual weather. The thing is I'm not one for the sun, but when it comes to that painting, the sun is applying sex, so it's symbolical. You know, it's very symbolical. It's a suggestion that's being made on that painting. So you're thinking to yourself, you're violating me with the sunshine, then you should be violating me with sex, with a sexy person, basically. So basically, it's going against you, if you know what I mean. So if it's cloudy, you might not get the sex, but you can get your pictures, or you can enjoy the weather. And obviously you think to yourself, well, if you're not going to get anyone, then you're going to enjoy a cloudy day, and you might as well have the cloudy weather and not the sex in the sun. But if you got the sunny day, with that suggestion of that specific painting, it's a cursed type of painting that suggests the sun means that you're getting the sex. But that's not the case with me, because if we go later on in the months of late 2023, they timed a lookalike to this Lauren of a teenager or a child that's just about almost adult age, who looks very similar to this Lauren. The only difference is this child or teenager that walked past, she was rougher looking skin with a more dry and sarcastic looking face, and more fat build than this Lauren. But like I said, it was only a kid. I couldn't photograph the t-shirt or anything like that, because obviously this person was only about 15, 16, 13 at the youngest. I mean, she may have been an adult, but either way, she was wearing a no sex t-shirt at that time, and I thought to myself, I'm being cursed by blue skies and sunshine, yet it's cloudy or rainy everywhere else except where I am on that specific day, or something like that back at that time. Well, what they did after that is they started pissing about with other setups, causing it to be sunny and circling me with blue skies and open sky for the sun to come through, and then they started timing lookalikes to people who sexually abused me as a child tied to an erection, and started doing that. So they thought they'd do that instead, to tell me that that's a replacement to messing up Laura, or turning this people that look like Lauren against you when it comes to this sexual sun curse painting. Anyway, although you have rainy days in November or December of 2023, torrential rainstorms, and it's very cloudy, that wasn't the case where I was. Every single day there was at least 2 to 3 hours of sunshine, if not all day of every day, right up until Christmas 2023. So there was one specific time I went on the bus, and it's a trip to Bruton to Street, and there was loads of clouds in the sky, hundreds of little clouds, you know, in little clouds, only small clouds. Out of all those hundreds of clouds and I can't remember when it was, I think it might have been August or July of 2023. Out of all those clouds in the sky, there wasn't a single cloud cover where that sun went past any of the clouds in the whole of that day I was out on that specific day when I went to Bruton to Street using public transport. The whole day, from start to finish, blue skies and sunshine without a single cloud cover, yet you had hundreds of little clouds in the sky. I don't know how they were causing each and one of those clouds to miss the sun, but they managed it. Right, let's come to 2024, shall we? Right, so the first few days of January 2024, you had some cloudy, rainy, well not rainy, but very sort of grey cloud days, but they weren't fully cloudy. As always, where I was walking, they were timing that sun to come out. And basically, most days I was actually where I am at this minute in time. After those first few days of cloudyish days, they weren't really cloudy, full cloudy days, but you had that cloud day, you know. It was then sunny every day for the rest of January. Every single day. And a lot of days with blue skies and sunshine. For me, I don't know how it is for everybody else, but for me, every single day of January of 2024 was sunny. So when we passed going to February, the first few days of February are just completely sunny, every single day sunny. So I do recall going in the beginning of February, in late January, I do recall going to Cerne Abbas and places on the Dorchester route to take pictures of old signposts and stuff like that. And then I found out when I got there, it's sort of, I've been followed by blue skies and sunshine, yet cloudy up everywhere else. But for me, it was not just cloudy for a section of the day, or sunny for a section of the day. Right from start to finish, open blue skies and sunshine every single day of the beginning part of February and the whole of January 2024 being done. And that's when I sort of realised that this cursed painting that's making a suggestion of sexual suggestions with Lauren is starting to curse me, but without the sex. So you got that. But what I will say is it's straight after I saw that painting being sold on a postcard that this weather pattern became more constructive in a way where the sky was opening up and only following me, or changing the direction to cause the sky to be open with blue skies and sunshine. Before that time, it was sort of before September of 2023, you'd get like cloud cover, but it would be for you and for everyone else sort of thing, and then sun, it would be for you and for everyone else. But when they've actually started circling it around me to be blue skies and sunshine, literally is around about the same time period I saw this sexual painting, this sexual Lauren cursed painting of where they've deliberately caused the sky state to only be circling me with the blue skies and sunshine. Anyway, when we come into the second week of February and to middle of March or whatever, however long it is, I went to my dad's for a bit. When my dad went for a Costa and I was staying in his area, they were opening the skies up to cause blue skies and sunshine only where I am, but where my dad was going and everybody else went, it was actually cloudy. Although that was occurring most days, and every single day there was sunshine at some point, you did have half a day or 3/4 days where you had a lot of cloud cover as well, of an equivalent of about 2 weeks in total, which is not bad. But you've got to take into account I was in my dad's area. When I came back to Yeovil after that several weeks, 6 weeks or whatever it was, it might have been a bit less than that, I can't remember. I came back to mine and straight away it was blue skies and sunshine. And then every single day for the rest of March was blue skies and sunshine, apart from roughly 20 rainstorms lasting for a few seconds to no more than about 5 minutes on average, maybe 10 minutes at a push. When we reached, that's where a bit of cloud over as well, mind. So when we reached the 2nd of April 2024, you had 3/4 of a day where it was actually raining. But you did have sunny spells at times, and they could be up to 10-15 minutes, but there was only about 2 or 3 of them before the 3/4 of the day was up, and where the last quarter of the day was blue skies and sunshine. Between the 5th of April and the end of June 2024, there was roughly 40 to 50 rainstorms, anything from a couple of seconds to a few minutes maximum. They didn't really last that long, not like they were in 2022 or in sections of 2023. It just seems to be sort of shorter spells of it. They managed to get every one of those torrential rainstorms or heavy rainstorms to be caused so that the sun is out at the same time. Now obviously this was causing nice rainbow effects, but it was sunny and it didn't really look that nice because you've got a different kind of sun today. So I didn't bother photographing it because it would just look obliterated basically. So you had that. Take that away, and roughly the average of about 6 days of hazy sunshine, which is mostly open cloud with split cloud with blue skies. That 6-day period of hazy sunshine, open skies with blue skies and open cloud or whatever, obviously would be the equivalent of 6 days from roughly around the beginning of April to today's current day, which is the 11th of July 2024. So you'd have about 6 days roughly in total. That's clamming it all together, you know, all the cloud covers clammed together in that sort of way for hazy sort of days in total. Take that away, every single day of it, the rest of April was sunny, and except for the 28th of May, the same for the whole of the month of May as well. The 28th of May you had half a day where it was cloudy. It wasn't raining, it was cloudy. I don't think it was raining. It was cloudy, but most people were saying that the whole day was cloudy, but where I was it's about half a day. And then it's not until the 22nd of June, which was a Sunday I think, where you had hot sunny morning where it caused my temperatures in my room to go to 30 degrees, and then I did a conspiracy on the internet showing the Met Office weather claiming it's being cloudy when it's sunny, and then they decided to cause it to be cloudy for a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours, and then after that there was 1 hour of blue skies and sunshine, which heated the room up to keep it at the temperature it was, and then after that it clouded over for about 45 minutes, and then it was sunny for the rest of the evening. Take away those 3 days where you had a bit of cloud and those 6-day hazy sunshine, which is mostly open skies. That's hazy sunshine with the sun coming through, by the way, not hazy sunshine as like more in the way of cloud. I'm talking about where it's bright days. And taking away those 40 rainstorms, which all occurred with sunshine being out at the same time, then every single day for that 3-month period is blue skies and sunshine where I've been. But the next problem I want to mention is on the Met Office and the BBC. They predicted that it's going to be cloudy days on all those days where that sun was circling me with blue skies and sunshine on all those days. So every time I went out, they were opening the sky up accordingly to where I was, causing it only to be sunny in that area. So for me, I've only faced sunny weather for the last 3 years. The very rare day. Some months you don't even get a single half a day of cloud cover where I'm walking, and this is why I'm struggling to take pictures. Going back to 2022, I went to take a picture of a Wardour street light, which is one of those on a concrete post, which is a backwards 7 looking concrete post with like a square box on it, which is an open outlet with a 35 watt low pressure sodium bulb in it, and I think it's a 1940s type. Going back to Bridgewater down St John Street back in the early 90s, before they changed them over, they had those street lights down there. So it's like on a concrete post, identical to that. So there's the square type, because there's certain types that you got. This was the oldest of them, 1940s. Well, I went to take a picture of it, but every time I went there to take a picture of it, it turned out to be blue skies and sunny, and the picture wouldn't have come out right, so I never managed to take it. When I eventually found a cloudy day, that ground had been scrapped over, had been turned into fields where they'd scrapped it all over, done away with all the rubbish and all the garbage of the industrial site or whatever it was that used to be there, or the just wanted to take that specific light down and bits and pieces that are around it, and then I couldn't photograph it, so I never managed to photograph that. And when I did go there on the day I was hoping it'd still be there, even on that day they still open that sky up to blue skies and sunshine, where usually they try and, going back say 10 years before, if that occurred, they deliberately call it to be cloudy to make a suggestion that it's cloudy on the day it's not there anymore. But nowadays they don't give a monkeys, and they want to cause it to be blue skies whether it's there or not. They want to make sure 100% that you don't get a picture of it or whatever. So when it comes to taking old streetlight pictures, I've struggled like hell. There's actually been 2-hour periods where I've had to wait around just for a few seconds of cloud to get those pictures that I've taken, especially in the early part of 2023. So, you know, it's not good. And obviously today is sunny. I just wanted to mention the 8th of July and the 9th of July, because both of those days on the weather forecast they predicted either cloud straight through with no sun whatsoever in most areas I searched in the local area, and the same for the 9th. And also the 10th, which is yesterday, was a blue sky sunny day when they predicted part sunshine and part cloud. Where I was, there was not a single cloud cover apart from a 3 or 4 minute hazy sunshine period, and several seconds at times, no more than about 3 or 4 times at a maximum, where they caused it to be cloudy at a time setups to occur, or when I'm about to take a picture of a negative suggestion. And also, if we go back, I can't remember if that was yesterday or a couple of days ago, they timed a roughneck person in my direction to cause trouble and give me threats. And at the time that occurred, there was a 30-second cloud cover. Otherwise, the whole of that day was blue skies and sunshine. Yet everywhere else, and everyone I phoned up, they said it's been cloudy and rainy where they've been. Yet the blue skies and sunshine have only been circled around me, and that really annoyed me. So let's get to the 8th of July. So the 8th of July, you had just over half a day of blue skies and sunshine, roughly just over a quarter of a day of hazy sunshine, and a couple of hours of basically rain or cloud cover. But for everybody else, or most people, they're telling me that it's been mostly cloudy and rainy mostly cloudy or rainy for the for that day. Sorry, that's the 9th, not the 8th. The 8th was just under half a day of white cloud. Otherwise hazy sunshine and full-blown sunshine. Again, for everybody else, they're saying it's just been cloudy. So that brings you up to date with the latest weather, and it's not going to stop. So what we're going to do about this replacement of Lauren, when I'm 43 coming up 44 years of age, is not a good suggestion, is it, Christ? Just to remind you that 2006 area was when I got my first digital camera, which was a 7 megapixel camera. Well, I used to take pictures of these old-fashioned streetlights, like these mercury vapour streetlights, like the AC Ford 1960s type, that are on telegraph poles, which is like the domed-looking big ball sort of dome-shaped type. And also I like the General Electric Company, the star cone type, which is like the really old-fashioned early ones, and some of them are like a little small domed look as well. Then you've got like the upside down ice cream cone looking ones. They're also just as old. And also I take pictures of the low pressure sodium lights as well, like, which I've not really managed to get many pictures of, because when it comes to that specific light, they've all been taken down, even going back to 2006. But I like the Wardour type, the 1950s and 1960s, and the 1970s type. The Thorn Alpha 9, that's the one that still remains up in some places, though it's quite rare. Then you've got that squiggly one like the Alpha 1. I'm not keen on the look of that shape one, but that's also one of the older types. But the ones that's still up, or there's a lot of at the moment, is the Thorn Beta 5, both the slim type and also the thicker box shape type as well. I photograph them because obviously you're not going to get much older than that anymore, because they've taken them down to put these knife shaped looking LED lights up, which are less attractive. But also the ones that are hard to take a picture of also are these round, what I call the round cone type, which is the circular ones that have a hat on the top. People used to give it that description. You don't see many of those either. A lot of those sort of in the time period in 2006, I couldn't even photograph those because you don't have many of those up anymore either. I think the last time you would have seen those type, you're looking at the mid-1990s. Straight after the mid-1990s, those type just came down one after the other. But there's still a few. I managed to photograph some designated ones in certain areas and whatever else. But there's a hell of a lot of pictures I've not been able to take. The carbon arc lamp, I've failed on 2 of those in the past because the sun has come out. Some of the original gas lantern ones that are not fully broken, I've taken one on a sunny day, not out of choice, but quite literally if I went back there again it wouldn't be there because obviously it's broken. And there's been loads that have been taken down. I try to avoid sunny days in pictures because it just does not look right, and many people have told me this. It's not just myself. Many people have said that it doesn't look right on sunny days, and they say when it comes to these sorts of pictures where you're taking them up in the sky, in the air, you need a more mystical effect when it comes to the old-fashioned streetlights or old buildings or anything that looks Victorian. Then again, the ones with the hats on, the streetlights with the hats, because it's got that sort of dreary look or that moody appearance to it, when the sun's beaming down on them in the evenings, it does look quite nice. But like I said on documentaries, or earlier possibly on this documentary, we don't have the same sun anymore. It's a white blistering type of sun. You don't have that orangey effect to it. It doesn't have the yellow in it, and the intensity is much brighter than what it was in the 80s, and you don't get the look on the ground like it should be. There's obliterated white everywhere. It looks like the colour's away from you. You haven't even got the colour in the plant life anymore. Going back when we had different kind of weather, it's sort of if you look at it like going to a vehicle and you've got like a dull window sort of thing where it gives that sort of orangey look, makes everywhere outside look nicer. It would look like that back in those days, but because the weather's changed and global warming and they've broken open the ozone layer, you don't get that anymore. But anyway, going back to the story of taking the pictures of the old streetlights, quite literally from day one of 2006 when I started taking these pictures, I sort of went to take a picture on a sunny day, and I at that time didn't really take much notice of the weather conditions. I just wanted to take a picture and see what it looks like. And then I found out that the weather doesn't look right on the picture. However, even with the sun out on some of the older pictures in 2006, that sun was still, although it's bright and white, there was still some times or some days going back then where the sun still had that glare, especially if a bit of cloud went over, not much, and it would give that sort of golden look or that sort of different look to the ground. But it would be different than what it was today. Even back then from today, you notice there's a difference in the sun change. I mean, I didn't like the sun back then, but you compare it, it's twice as white as it. Well, I wouldn't to say twice as white, but you notice the difference. It's not like it is. Since about 20, let's work it out, about 2010ish maybe, hard to say. That's when you had the next change in the sort of the way the sun looks. I mean, going back on the earliest round cone street light I took was down Old Bristol Road in Bridgewater, and that's around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just as it's getting dark in the winter time period. Well, not dark, you know, sunset. Even then you had that sort of orange effect bouncing, giving that like a mystical look on the old light. But you don't get that anymore, even at sunset, because we have a different sunstay. It's white, it's just white. But anyway, that's not the story I wanted to mention. Every time I arrived at these old streetlights when I was taking them in the past, over the years, they caused the sun to come out as I reached the street light, causing me to lose many photographs and failing because of this sun curse persistently. They've done this hundreds and hundreds of times, possibly thousands of times when it comes to ordinary photos as well, from when I started taking pictures of other things from about 2012 onwards. I did take pictures of other things before then, but it's nice to have some sunshine at some times, but when you get it all the time and you've got it on the wrong photos, it just does not work. If we go back to, I don't know if it's 2022 or 2023, if it is 2023, it'd be the earliest part of 2023. There was an advert on YouTube, and basically it's showing disabled people that have what's the name of it, Down syndrome, laughing and photographing things like a lantern at dusk next to a tent and a lake. You had this Down syndrome photographing stuff in the rain, laughing, and with his girlfriend, sexual girlfriend. And also you had this person taking pictures, you know, in sort of cloudy, rainy weather, you know, but they were doing it in a way to make it sound like you're a disabled person if you take pictures in cloudy, rainy weather. And then on the same advert, they show a sensible looking person, an adult, a bit older than this Down syndrome, because this Down syndrome is more like teenager, early 20s, that was doing these pictures. It showed an ordinary family, normal person with a beard, smiling in a normal way, taking pictures on a sunny day of hotel balconies, the beach and holiday places. And the advert is to say, brighten up your day with something or rather of a specific camera that they were advertising on that advert back at that time. Now, it's alright to manipulate people to tell them to take pictures on sunny days, but there are still those that prefer cloudy days without having to be insulted or being stopped from taking pictures on a cloudy day. So yes, quite literally from square one, from day one, every single time I try taking a picture of these streetlights, the sun always comes out. On days out, when I've gone on day trips with my father, going back in the days when I was still living with my father, and also when my brother was visiting, and when he was and when my father was in a relationship with another person, and his son was coming with us to these places. Even on those days, if there's an old light, they suddenly time the sun to come out. They've messed up hundreds of photos, and this is what's forced me to lose the pictures of the remaining carbon arc streetlights that are still up, some of the round cone streetlights, and some of the old low pressure sodium lights. When it comes to the white streetlights on the telegraph poles, I've been very lucky with those, although I struggle because the sun's come out and I've had to go back many times to retake that one picture and look for others on a day when it is cloudy. I have quite a lot and a respectable amount of pictures when it comes to the MBFU mercury vapour white glowing 80 watt or 125 watt street light bulbs that are on the telegraph poles, and they're my favourite out of all the street lights anyway. But I do like the thing of old lighting. Old lighting is one of my favourite interests. I like anything from tilly lamps, candles, lanterns, old street lights, anything that's old. When it comes to these LED lights, I can't stand any of it at all. But they've stopped making all the old bulbs. Anything from industrial lighting to car headlights to street lights to torches to bicycle lamps to tilly lamps. In fact, they're all LED replaced. You don't have the wick in there anymore, you don't have the paraffin, you don't have the kerosene as they call it in America, you don't have any of that. Everything today is LED, and I don't like the LED lights. I like the old traditional lighting. I mean, when you see a car headlights flash in a storm, or you see a lighthouse blinking in a storm, you don't have the light suddenly go dead dim and then go out in like a rational way. It's got to be done like, you know, suddenly. It just doesn't look right. LED lights, I just don't like them. I mean, they're convenient for around the house because they're a lot cheaper to run. And obviously, they don't go pop out every few minutes, you know, every month or so, but they did used to last a lot longer than what they do in recent times. I can't remember the year they stopped making bulbs. I think it's either 2015 or 2016 area. It could have been 2014, I'm not sure. They've stopped making all bulbs. The only bulbs you can get now are LED. They made it illegal in parts of the world to buy the traditional type of lighting, and they made it illegal to sell from a shop, an official shop that sells lighting, to sell old-fashioned bulbs. The only place you can get these sorts of bulbs are eBay or second-hand or charity shops or wherever. But then again, most people don't use them anyway. But so they hit quite a lot of my topics. I mean, even when it comes to my music, I mentioned this before. Obviously, this is all to do with the weather, but I just want to mention, when it comes to my music, they've done away with all my old school jungle tracks that I used to listen to. Just a couple of days ago, someone had an argument with me walking past seeing my favourite jungle tracks on my t-shirt, and they're saying the government's doing away with all that. They're saying it's all sick music. They were trying to force everybody into happy, good life music, stuff that's not sick, and started a row like that. And I thought, yeah, well, I haven't had a very good fucking happy life, have I? So not surprising I listened to that, but I didn't tell him that. But he just says, oh, you're supposed to listen to what, you know, it's not correct, you know, saying it's not right to listen to this, and sort of dig in on sexuality. And because I was at a place where I wanted to take some pictures, and we had some cloud cover at the same time, I wasn't in the mood for an argument or starting a row, because I wanted to do the pictures of the old building. At the time and the place and the day I was, at the time I had this threat made at me, and I wasn't in a mood, and I didn't have time to mess about before the next lot of blue skies and sunshine came across. And I did get that picture of the building as well, so that was a picture I didn't fail on. But it is rare because obviously it's sunny every day. So, you know, all my interests are folded under. No one's into it either. Everyone's into social life. Everyone's different today. No one's got the same mindset as me. The nearest people that you'd have that have the same sort of mindset or the same interests as me, the nearest people to that, probably people that are of the new age. But it's hard to say what people like what, because everyone just seems to be into the modern interests. I don't fit into modern interests. I'm into more natural interests and more mystical looking things. So, but anyway, I'll leave it there. Still regarding the subject of music, there is one other thing I want to mention, and that is there's a specific label that does all my dark ambient music and puts it on CD in America, which is called Cryo Chamber Recordings. Back in 20 whatever, I don't know when it began, but up to 2018, 2019, they were allowed to produce a certain sound or make the music sound really deep and very dark, or sort of very dreamy at the same time, or very drony, where they're not actually allowed to do that anymore. So anything that's new that's being published by that specific label, even they have restrictions of where they got to change the music. And I have heard some of their latest albums, and there's a lot more sort of snappy sounds, sort of sudden sound effects or sharp sounds in it. You don't have that soul in it as such. You don't have that drone in it as such anymore. They sort of changed it into a more modern sound that's more, which I don't like, basically, is the easiest way to put it. So even they have got to change with the times or have restrictions when it comes to that sort of music, meaning that it's the end of that as well. So just wanted to mention it. I just wanted to mention that the reason I listen to this type of music is because I can't listen to my jungle music anymore, because I don't have it anymore. Because over time, when I was living at my old place and I was experiencing burning with my, gritty, stinging, burning eyes, and the feeling like your eyes being forced open and outwards and the eyes becoming swollen, it had the ability to damage all my CDs. And it also had the ability to wipe off stuff off of memory sticks, bugger up memory sticks, and also buckle hard drives as well. However, there are bits and pieces that I managed to restore or managed to rescue, even though that was occurring. And I was checking out everything when I moved to Yeovil. Well, I bought a load of Cryo Chamber CDs, which is dark ambient at very high prices, because that sort of music's not cheap. And I was paying that price basically when I was camping before I moved to Yeovil. And then I bought a couple when I moved to Yeovil as well, here and there. But what's happened is those discs that I bought at high prices, which would cost too much for me to buy back now, so is between November last year and before I went to my dad's, because I was experiencing extreme burning in a specific time period, where whatever was causing that burning, possibly, I can't guarantee it, messed up all those discs. It's corrupted the discs, it's done damage to the discs. Not only is it trying to do damage to my health or burn me to death, but it's actually damaged all my music. It's costing me a very high amount of money. So I've lost all that as well. So literally, when it comes to music, I've literally got nothing. I'm sort of relying on specific tracks that I rescued, and I did like a 40 disc CD that I did. That takes just 7 minutes to burn, and even I was struggling with that. The sort of tracks I managed to rescue. Take that away, I haven't got any of my music at all. So you're relying on certain tracks. You've got to think to yourself, if you've got one track, treasure just that one track, because you can't guarantee you'll ever get that track again. Just treasure. And you might think to yourself, I've lost the best tracks ever, you know. But if you've got a track, you really like it, and you know it's a track that's good, treasure that one track, because that track might be the only track you might ever see for the rest of your life if the others fail or whatever. Or if you've got this 40 track disc thing I did was the beginning of this year, because all the discs I did last year I was recording to M discs, and this neighbour called Matty was messing them up, and it cost me 1,400 quid and new price of those M discs if I had to buy them back. No, that's what I paid, sorry. If I had to buy them back now, it'd be double the price because of the rarity, because they stopped making them. And this is another thing. Again, when they stopped making those M discs, I was buying them from a site called onyourmdiscforever.com. The exact day they stopped making those discs was the exact day I saw Amanda Millis in B&M store at Burnham-on-Sea, when I was buying some matches and a few other things. That's the same day they stopped making those discs. But at that time, Amanda was in a sexual relationship with a new boyfriend, and also she doesn't like me, and she's connected to Sadie Dando and all that side of the family. Sadie Dando doesn't like me, but if you look at it on the principle that her friends and the friends of her friends, whether they're older than her or younger, every one of those will hate me worse than she does. So you've got to take that into account. The next thing is, Verbatim decided to relaunch those M discs with a few changes and a few other bits and pieces, like making the disc more durable, but using the same rock layer inside the disc. Well, they succeeded and they got away with it, so they relaunched it. And this is another coincidence. The day Grace Waterman moved into my place, which is one of the neighbours, is exactly the same day Verbatim got told to stop making those discs, and they had to stop making them. And then straight after that, I found out that they stopped putting disk drives in the modern laptops, and that you can't use disk drives in any of the modern computers that they're selling, which I didn't know about at the time. And this is what's caused me to get a bit annoyed. Going back in the past, I mentioned this mostly on sunny days, as this documentary is mostly to moan about the sun. I was doing these documentaries saying that after a time, hard drives go muffled after a few years of saving your music on there, and then you lose your music, and then eventually, if it's not put on a safe format, eventually after so many years you're just going to lose the tracks, or the quality is going to degrade to a point where it sounds crap. When it goes to a USB stick, straight away, when you save music to a USB stick, the quality drops straight away, so the bass line will drop. You won't have that hard bass. With a hard drive, it holds out that surround bass, but when you put it to a USB stick, that bass line will just suddenly drop straight away, and the quality will drop as well. When it comes to an SD card or a micro SD card, it's even worse. Micro and SD cards, when you put it on a micro SD card, it's like burning music to a DVD. You know, the quality just drops to that degrade. The only sort of CDs that I tend to find that are worth putting music to, where you can guarantee that the quality remains at a reasonable level, and where you don't have to piss about, you know, with losing data or quality. Even on online storage, mind. When I've had stuff online, choked by Catalyst, hang on. There's a fucking AA van that's called that. I had to stop the recording as those people eventually come in and there's a load of setups. I've actually been diverted back to where I was earlier. Then again, I don't really feel like walking because it's extremely sunny, which is what this documentary is about. Yet it's still cloudy everywhere else, apart from where I am, sexual weather. Anyway, let's talk about the quality of discs, shall we? If you're going to save any music at all, there's 2 discs or 3 discs you should use in particular. An ordinary CD, you know, a blank CD, I tend to find is a very good quality format. I've never really had that many problems with a blank CD, recording anything onto a blank CD, and it still plays many years later. So, assuming there's no signals in the air or frequencies that mess it up, like the issue I had at my old place and now at my new place at Yeovil, which I've been at for 3 years, then a CD should last you fine. A CD will hold out information quality, so once you burn it to a CD, that CD is pretty much spot on for quality. I mean, there's nothing for me to complain about there. A CD I'd see as just being a straightforward copy that's almost as clear as the original disc. When it comes to the M disc, again, the quality is great. I have noticed with the M disc though, it's very, very faint. It's not enough to annoy me or anything like that. It's very, very, very faint. There might be a slight bass drop or less bass in it, but very, very faintly. Not noticeable hardly. But there is that sort of 5% loss. But once it's on that disc, you can guarantee that disc could be on there forever. You don't have to worry about it again. Mind you, those M discs are not as great as they're made out to be, though they would be a format that I'd keep my music on. Those and CDs in particular, or the 25GB M discs, which you need a Blu-ray drive to do, and they're just as good as well. But my preference would be either the 4.7GB M disc or the 700MB blank CD. The blank CD would be my preference if I was recording music. You know, a straightforward audio copy to an audio CD. That'd be my preference. For data, I'd use an M disc. You can guarantee if it's on a disc, any data, I mean discs can mess up, but it's very rare. But with a disc, you'll tend to find that they last for ages and ages and ages, years, and you don't get that deterioration. This is how I've kept most of my music safe over time, without deterioration, because music I've had on hard drives or USB sticks, if I still had those tracks today and I had them saved on USB sticks or hard drives, say 15 years ago, the quality would be so muffled and so quiet, it wouldn't be playable hardly. There's even stuff I had on online storage, which I've had to do away with because of the quality. But I'll give you something else that's annoying me about online storage. I was putting my whole life story pack known as Deep Depression, or what I've nicknamed Sexually Ripping Justin to Pieces Conspiracy, which has 15 years of trouble and setups. Obviously there's been quite a chunk that's been out of there as well. I'm inhaling with these fucking flies. I've done this over 100 times. Nothing you can do about it. Yeah, over 100 times. Yeah. Right, so online storage. I went to save some stuff on there. And the people behind the team banned my account. I had a phone call, because obviously you give that details to the cloud storage of the place I saved it initially, and they said they're not happy with the content that was on there. And I thought to myself, well, it's private, nobody goes on there. And they banned my account and said, sorry, but we're going to have to close your account. And without any warning they did that, and I couldn't get my money back either. So I decided to go on to Google Drive and store stuff on there. Well, the SIM card messed up in my phone that I was using for Google Drive, and I couldn't rescue any of my stuff that was on there because the SIM card that broke needed a verification code for me to access the password, because I was using a different device. And because I couldn't do that, I couldn't access my account, meaning I lost all my data that I saved on online storage, causing me to lose over 50 gigabytes of information and my stuff that I don't have backed up anywhere else, because the hard drives decided to break again, which again happened in the time period of November to February 2024, November 2023. Now, I'm not saying that any of the neighbours are using anything, but it's cost me the same problem as I had at my old place. This is why I can't listen to hardly any jungle tracks. That's only got, well, it's 35 jungle tracks, 3 ambient tracks, 1 disco-y type track, sort of called P. Wheatley and P. Ross Back to Basics, which is one of those sort of 3-minute tracks where it's like a disco sort of breaks track. And then you've got Ultravox Vienna, which I fit on there to make it 40 tracks, because I couldn't find another track, you see. Initially I put Otis Redding on there, Dock of the Bay, and a few other tracks. The Hollies, The Air That I Breathe, and God Only Knows, because I was going to fill the CD up, and I thought to myself, just call it a quick 40 track disc and just mix some other tracks with the rescued tracks that I saved. Because even the Music Electronica series, the 3-disc series, I did everyone in 2016 for Christmas. I've lost that as well. I can't ask people to give me their copy to take it off their copy, because a lot of people, you know, don't like my music and they did get rid of it. They didn't do it to be nasty or anything like that, it's just not their music. And it's got mislaid, and obviously, so I said that's not a problem. And obviously the USB sticks that I had it on, they've all broke. So, going back to Google Drive, because the SIM card broke in my phone, I had to cancel my payments and make a loss, losing 50 gigabytes of worth of stuff. They need to have some sort of thing where you have 2 passwords rather than the phone verification, because this phone verification thing, if your number gets buckled or the SIM card breaks, you've lost your stuff. And the other thing is, when you're on these sorts of sites, you've got a guarantee that after 5 years, if you don't sign in for 5 years, that everything could be deleted off. I mean, for example, you could be in hospital for 5 years, you could be ill for 5 years, you could go to jail for 5 years. You might not be able to access the internet for 5 years. They don't take that into account. None of this is being taken into account on the internet. You know, you need a reliable source where it's guaranteed for many years. You know, like a good 50 years, you know, before they, you know, give you a warning, or sort of before they take it off. They don't do that anymore. So, you know, so when it comes to preference in storage, right, for music, saving a CD, you know, a music CD, to a blank 700 megabyte music blank disc, you know, a CD, a normal CD, is my favourite format. Better than them discs. I prefer to use a CD to save one CD of music to another CD of music. That's my favourite format when it comes to audio and doing music, when saving music in that way. My second best format is the M-Disc, if you're using it for data, music data. When it comes to USB sticks, you lose the quality when it comes to audio files. If it comes to pictures or videos, it's pretty much stable. It keeps the quality. Might not be perfect, but it's acceptable. It's good. With hard drives, much the same. When it comes to online storage or saving music from one device to another using Bluetooth or air signals, frequencies in the air rather than being from a direct source, I'm not happy with, because if you look at the download quality of that foily sort of sound, that tingy sort of I don't know how to word it, but you like got a tingy sort of sound where it sounds sort of warped or sounds all crap, and you get that quality where it just doesn't sound right. It sounds like it's all over, you know, sounds like it's not. You lose that basically, as I said, basically it's got that sort of foily sort of you know, sort of sound all over it, and sort of, I don't, you know, when it comes to downloads, this is why I won't, in most cases, don't like downloading my music. If you were to work with these samples or try and edit these samples on Audacity or try and use it on a music program, you can't use downloaded samples because the sound quality is too crap. This is why when I have my music, it has to be taken from a CD, ripped from a vinyl, you know, a record, or transferred from a memory stick or hard drive to another memory, you know, to your computer. It can't be done through frequencies in the air because you lose that quality. And when you think to yourself that your music's already recorded in a low quality back in the day when it was originally recorded on disc, you've got to also think that when you amp the sound up, enhance the bass levels, enhance the treble, it brings out that foily sounding effect if it's from a downloaded source, and it just sounds absolutely terrible. It doesn't hold that depth control either. Downloads don't hold depth control. It's all sort of mid-range distortion, if you know what I mean. So so I don't like downloads. You will notice it bad when you get a download from what it would sound like if you had it on the original record. For actual sound quality, for the quality in sound, out of all formats, 12-inch vinyl, you know, records are the clearest and qualitiest type of format for sound quality out of everything. Records hold out a good sound. You've got the depth, you've got the bass, it's not distorted, and it sounds spot on. You might have a couple of scratches or pops or crackles or whatever, but I can tell you now, a record is the best quality you can get. Better than a CD, better than an M-Disc. Yeah, record holds out the clarity more than any other format. However, for convenience and for second best, which I accept, would be CDs and taking audio files from someone's computer, for example, and transferring it to my computer, but that's not from a downloaded source. Though I do prefer to get my own music, but I will not use downloaded samples, or do not like downloaded music, because the quality is a lot different than what it would be if it was on a normal format. I just do not like download quality. It doesn't affect most people's music. This cryo chamber stuff that I get, or did get, before they messed up all the CDs with signals in the air causing damage to But it's the same signals that are causing me to burn intensely and crushing inside my head panes that's messed up all these discs, I believe. I can't guarantee that 100%, but I don't like down low quality, that's the problem. It's not so noticeable on the chart music or the hip hop. When it comes to the sort of jingly type drum beats that you get in jungle music, or certain specific sounds maybe in some chart music as well, you suddenly notice it as well. You know, you notice that warped sort of, I don't know how to make the sound, but that warped sound is occurring. So yeah, it's not good, and this is why, you know, I don't like down low quality. So obviously when I'm putting my stuff online, I'm only putting it on there as a backup, as an urgent backup if I was to lose those tracks completely and they're not available ever again anywhere, then you would have to accept second best in quality, but I wouldn't be happy about it. But at least, you know, you'd have some form of the track even though it's not great. However, when you know that you've got the tracks on CD, or if you've got it on an M disc or whatever, the thing is, I've wasted so much money on these discs for broken discs, and it's not good, because last year I was on the gin and the vodka, and I put some recorded discs I did in 2015 that were in a rubbish bag, and I took out the wrong rubbish bag, and I chucked out all my recorded discs, which included the Music Electronica series, and I hit the fucking roof. I thought to myself, what's the fucking point of living? Chucking all your fucking music away. And then I realised that when I did those discs, that when the neighbour was banging going back a year or so ago, that not only did I waste 1,400 quid's worth of discs that I paid in my money price, but in today's money price it'd be about £4,000. I don't have that sort of money anymore. I don't have much money. Yeah, when it comes to that, when I recorded those discs, I didn't realise that there was problems with it. When I did that 40 track disc, which is the latest one, where I did so many copies, I think I did 6 copies or 8 copies, and I also did Peter a copy as well, which is one of the neighbours, but there's some bonus tracks on there, which I did less of. So I have 4 copies of that, because 2 got stolen in the post. So there's a copy at my dad's, with 1 copy, 1 at my mum's, and 2 copies at mine. So that's what the 40, and obviously the one I gave Peter, but that's not, I don't want that one back. You know, he's a mate, so I gave him that copy. So I wanted to let him to know what my music's like, and I wanted to give him something that he can treasure, you know, years later, and probably when I'm gone or whatever. But whether that neighbour actually likes me, I'm not 100% sure, but I did want to do him that disc, and I also did a mark, because what happened was, is going back later on, I knew about all these latest issues where they're doing away with disc drives and all the rest of it, and I thought, in time you're not going to be able to play these discs, you're not going to be able to record these discs, and you think to yourself, maybe at a later time if I wanted to record a disc I'd do it, and I'd buy some discs back, but it would be about 4 times the price of what you're paying now. But at the same time, because they're doing away with disc players and disc drives, and nobody wants discs anymore, those discs could also go down as well, because nobody will want them. So they could either go up or they could go down, they could go either way. But whatever direction they go in, there's no way I can, I'm just going to have to accept that I've only got 40 or 35 jungle tracks, and that is the fucking lot out of everything. Even the Jungle Techno series, I saved them, right, burnt them to discs, I had to chuck those out because there were problems, and I snapped the discs at the time going back when I did them, because, you know, I lost my temper. I thought, God's treat, I lost my temper. I filmed it, I lost the film. I got a photograph of it, the evidence, but I filmed it as well, so I snapped all the discs in temper. I said, alright, I'll listen to sexual music, so I'm getting sex twice, I'm getting sex, and I just snapped every one of those discs, and I filmed it, and then I photographed the evidence after. I have the photo, but I don't have the film. And what happens in my life just gets worse. Haha, how fucking typical. And then I'm cursed with the sun, as I tell you. So it's going to get better and better and better, but there's never going to be good news. It's just, everything's all fucking falling when it comes to me. And then you get crows saying, haha, fuck people that rape your child, haha, you've been molested, haha, you're not getting no sex all your life, haha, you're being shot dead, haha, you're being knifed dead, haha, you're getting a break-in, gonna rip you to pieces, gonna tell you to fuck people that rape your child after you had a break-in, haha, gonna tear you to pieces. I tell you, God's fallen, he really has. But I'll leave it there on that section. I mean, this video is mostly to speak about the bloody sun, not moaning about discs or anything like that, but, you know, it's certainly worth adding.